Hello, I'm Tony Rasmussen, welcoming you to the top 10 best South Park episodes. And for many of you who already know the origins of South Park, and for many of you who don't, I will leave a description of the first two original shorts in the description below. So let me get my honorable mentions out of the way. Pokemon and Eat Pray Queef. Now, let's get started. Number 10. The Ungroundable. This episode, satirizing the Twilight craze, was one of the funniest I had seen in the 12th season. Well, other than overlogging, but that didn't make the list because, well, I just didn't really find it that funny. The whole plot of The Ungroundables is that Butters is feeling demeaned with his life, the goth kids are having to deal with the Twilight craze, and basically everyone's just going through that craze. You know, the craze of 2008 thanks to that damn movie. Oh, I despise that film series. This episode actually has a bunch of my favorite scenes in the 12th season in it. There's a scene with Butters and Cartman, there's a scene with the golf kids kidnapping the leader of the vampires in South Park. And I guess I can just say there's a scene with the burning down of Hot Topic. That was funny. But I guess if I had to say there was one thing I liked about this episode, that Traymat was actually taking a risk. And that when they were doing this, they decided to just make the focus on the golf kids as well as Butters, but Butters is one of the main characters. Golf kids you rarely see in certain episodes. So, yeah. It's a good episode. I recommend it if you find it online and, watch it. Number 9. Death. This episode is basically the pitching, technically, I don't know how that would work, to the South Park movie. This was technically a washed down version of the plot of the South Park movie. No musicals, no 399 curse words, no 128 offensive gestures. It was just sort of a washed down version of the movie. So, what do I like about this episode? 2 names. Terrence, Phillip. Those two are the funniest duo I have ever seen, probably on television. I mean, whatever they do, it either has to begin with a fart or end with a fart. That's the way it has to be, and it's funny. The basic plot of this episode is that the boys are watching Terrence and Phillip, and Sheila, being her personality, you know what I know. You know what I mean, screw that. Basically starts a protest over the show. And when they finally get the show off the air from Cartoon Central, parody of Comedy Central, haha, big laugh, they end up putting on reruns of Who's the Boss, which gets Sheila upset again, and they go riot, picketing, protesting again. So, this episode bad? No. Is this episode good? Yes. And, again, I recommend. Number 8. Cartman gets an anal probe, aka the pilot. What is it that I like about this episode? It has one of the best speeches by Kyle in any episode. It has the best humor of any episode in the first season. And basically, Cartman is great in this episode. I know being his first appearance, he had to be great, but literally, he's great. And that's all I can say, actually. I have nothing else against this episode, I have nothing else for this episode. But yeah, that's just about it. I can't think of anything else bad about this episode. So, moving on. I do have to say, I recommend that episode. Especially if you want to see the first. Number 7. Make Love Not Warcraft. This is one of those episodes when South Park takes a different art style. You know, they did it with Fun Times with Weapons, they did it with the Major Boobage episode. This episode, I think they done it right. If I had to put them in like a top 3, I think I'd put this one at 1. Plus, this was probably one of those only times in an episode when they actually had a joint venture with the company that makes World of Warcraft. Now, usually you don't get like the company that makes the product to actually support you. It's usually rare, especially with a TV show. But basically in this episode, Cartman basically convinces the guys to stay inside, play World of Warcraft, get fat, get hairy, get pimples, just so they could beat this one guy whose name is Leroy Jenkins, who is the cheater of the World of Warcraft game. Again, this episode is a good episode. I laugh at this episode. This is a funny one. It really depicts nerds. And that's all I have to say about it. I mean, again, I can't think of anything else bad to say about the episode. I think the only problem I think I have is that really, I think it's mostly with Clyde in this episode. I'm not saying I despise Clyde. I'm saying in this episode he was sort of a prick about the World of Warcraft. You know, and he only has like 2 scenes, so really I shouldn't care, but it's just one of the minor nitpicks. But he does have a funny scene where he's not really playing the game, he's reading a magazine. So that's funny. But it's actually a good episode if you're a hardcore gamer and you want to just get a cheap laugh. Number 6. All of the Coon episodes. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about the Coon 2 Hindsight, Coon vs. Coon and Friends, and Mysterion Rises. Where do I begin with these episodes? These are the best episodes of South Park I think I've ever seen. The only reason they didn't make it to the top of the list though is I think I was sick of the 14th season making it a trilogy. I think it would have been great if they did one for every season, like one Coon episode a season. Like, dude, okay. And I'm back from those epic episodes. God, who would have thought Riley was meant very French? Well, anyways, number 5, The Ring. This is the funniest episode of South Park I've ever seen, and I can give you one good reason. Mickey Mouse beats the crap out of the Jonas Brothers. That is the reason why I laughed at this episode. This is the reason why I like this episode. Other than that, the plot's like all over the place. But I don't care about the plot, I care about the jokes, okay? That's the way I am. I care about the jokes, not about the plot. And Mickey Mouse just seemed like a jerk in that episode. I know it's like that's the way he's supposed to be, but when it comes down to it, a big jerk. And it was freaking hilarious. I laughed at it. And there I need to say it, Kenny just got another girlfriend in that episode. Loved him, then he died, that was it. Next episode. And she doesn't even make another appearance in the rest of the season or the rest of the series. That's how amazed I am. Well, moving on. But is it a recommendable episode? Yeah, I recommend it. If you want something to at least laugh at for a while. Number 4. Now, with number 4, I'm going to say, like, if it's a 2-parter, I'm going to count them as one whole episode. So, if you're going to say, oh, you should just pick between the parts, no. I'm going to count 2-parters as one whole episode. Because that's just the way I am. I think it's just all one great episode. So, number 4 being Go God Go. Parts 1 and part 12, which is technically 2, it's just a joke. If you watch the episode, it's a joke. And basically in this episode, Cartman just freezes himself, ends up in the future, all because he wanted the one greatest thing in the world, the Nintendo Wii. This is like the sole reason. And then like, it's just like all these people basically are using him. Like, there's otters, there's one group of atheists, another group of atheists. Yeah, this was also like the atheist episode of the 10th season. Usually like each season, South Park does like a religious episode. You know, there was in the first season Jesus versus Santa. I can't think of any for the second season, third season. There was Jubilee. You know, fourth season. There was Do the Handicap Go to Hell. It's like every season they just do a religious episode. And this was their religious episode. It was this one and the premiere, which the premiere was dealing with Scientology. These 2 episodes were dealing with atheism and Christianity. But I have to say, my favorite line in that episode, those 2 episodes I mean, was Cartman, he gets the Wii, he's still in the future, and he's trying to hook it up to the TV. And the guy's basically telling him that he can't hook it up. And Cartman's like, are you serious? I just went through all that trouble just to find out I can't hook it up. And, you know, he just throws a fit, and then someone, I can't remember who it is, comes in She's like, what's wrong? And Cartman's like, I've been waiting 500 years to play Nintendo Wii, and if I don't get to play it real soon, I'm gonna bust a nut. And it was just so funny. Every time I see that scene, I laugh my ass off. It's just like the best reaction you can ever get. Just like saying, I went through all that trouble just to get this, and it doesn't work. I go through that all the time, and I just say, are you freaking kidding me? I went through all that trouble for this, and it doesn't work. So, these are 2 episodes I sort of recommend. I say if you're just someone who wants, wants to make, laugh at religion, or if you just want to see Cartman mess around for Wii. Those are just episodes if you like that stuff. Recommendation. Number 3. Cartoon Wars. Again, another 2-parter, I know. I just couldn't think of any other good episodes that I thought was funny. The only reason I actually chose this one was because this is probably the biggest rip on Family Guy I've ever seen in a TV show. South Park did it so well that I've actually heard that they've gotten flowers and congratulations from shows like The Simpsons and King of the Hill. Because basically, as I found out, all the other animated shows hate Family Guy. Yeah, I just found this out. And part 1 was great, they got all the letters and stuff. So Trey and I guess decided to sort of give a little ode to, basically their friends from the other studios, again, Simpsons, King of the Hill. So, what did they do? Okay, we're into part 2 now. And Cartman's now at Fox. Who does he meet? Bart freaking Simpson. That was awesome. I was shocked. Maybe I have one nitpick saying that they didn't get the voice actor. Like, they could have had, and here's the big shocker, Bart's played by a girl, you already know that, so they couldn't get her to come in and just do a few lines. So I guess it was probably either Trey or Matt that did them. But they did actually a good rendition. That was great. And then on top of that, they had the King of the Hill staff during the scene where Kyle and Cartman are fighting. So that was great too. But those whole 2 episodes are mostly just over. And I'm not going to say it because, it's against religion. And I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get bombed either, so I'm not going to say the name. I'm going to say Islamic, there you go. Islamic faith, religion, God, That's what basically these whole 2 episodes were about. And this episode was so controversial. Comedy Central was planning not to even air part 2 because they were so worried that they were going to get their asses bombed. And this happened again in my next top pick. So, let's move on to that top pick. Because this is an epic story. Epic proportions. Number 2. 200 and 201. So again, I'm sort of continuing off from Cartoon Wars. And I'm going to recommend Cartoon Wars if you hate Family Guy or if you just want to like the episode. Well, 200, it was the 200th episode. And as I heard from the commentaries I listened to, Trey and Matt decided this is technically considered the clip show of the series. Not like, the one in season 2, but this clip show was more or less basically bringing back everything that made South Park what it is. So like bringing back Scientology, bringing back Tom Cruise, and bringing back one of the most controversial things ever. The Islamic religion again. And again, I'm not going to try not to get bombed here, so I'm not going to really talk about it as much. I'm going to say those 2 episodes got Comedy Central worried again, and actually part 2 was completely censored. They censored out the last speech, they censored out Muhammad. I didn't say it. I'm gonna say it. I didn't mean to say it. Also the Islamic religion figure again. And basically when I listened to the commentary, they censored the whole entire commentary because Trey was saying like the reason why it was censored. And I'm like, this is Comedy Central. They go balls to the walls on certain stuff. But when it came to the Islamic religion, they were just like, oh no, mind blowing. But no, I did not say the M word. Zip. I don't want to get bombed. See ya. But another great thing about this episode is, again, it does reflect on all 200 original episodes from like every past season, and it does sort of shine a light on previous, questions like who is Cartman's father, which Big Shaq is Scott's dad, who Cartman technically killed. So basically Cartman killed his father. Wow. But, like, I'm just still upset over the